Okay, so get ready, because today we're diving deep into the world of a creature that's both majestic and, unfortunately, incredibly rare. We're talking about the South China tiger.
A truly fascinating animal, and one that's sadly on the brink of extinction.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all this research, articles, even some firsthand accounts, and it paints a pretty stark picture. There haven't been any confirmed sightings of these tigers in the wild for decades.
Decades, yeah. It really is a critical situation.
So how did we get here? And what makes the South China tiger so unique in the first place? I'm ready to go deep.
Well, for starters, it's the smallest of all the tiger subspecies.
Really? I didn't realize there was that much variation in size between them.
Oh, yeah. And it's not just about size. It's got these really distinct markings, too. These short, narrow stripes that are spaced further apart than other tigers. And they're this incredible golden to reddish-orange color.
I can picture it now. But why so small? Is it an adaptation to their environment?
Exactly. The South China tiger evolved to thrive in the dense, mountainous forests of southern China. Their smaller size and those unique stripes actually provide perfect camouflage in the dappled forest light.
So they're like stealthy little ninjas of the forest.
Pretty much. It allowed them to effectively hunt prey like deer and wild boar, and that played a crucial role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem.
So they're not just beautiful, they're vital to the health of their environment.
Absolutely. But there's another layer to this tiger story, one that goes beyond just ecology. They hold a really significant place in Chinese culture.
I was reading about that. Yeah, they're like deeply ingrained in mythology and folklore, right?
Oh, absolutely. The South China tiger is one of the four symbols in Chinese mythology. It represents the West and autumn and embodies yin energy.
I vaguely remember that from some of my history readings, but could you refresh my memory? What are the four symbols all about?
Well, in Chinese mythology, the four symbols are these celestial creatures that represent the four cardinal directions. You have the azure dragon of the east, the vermilion bird of the south, the black tortoise of the north, and of course the white tiger of the rest.
So the South China tiger is specifically connected to the white tiger.
Right. The white tiger is associated with metal, autumn, and the direction west. And it's this divine creature, associated with longevity in the mountains. There are all these ancient tales about it only appearing during times of peace and prosperity.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just a predator, it's practically a deity. And that symbolism, I'd imagine, has shaped people's relationship with the animal over centuries.
It has, yeah. You see this reverence for the tiger reflected in everything from traditional Chinese art to martial arts. Its power, grace, and ferocity have been captivating the Chinese imagination for millennia.
It's almost heartbreaking then to think about how close we've come to losing this animal completely.
It is heartbreaking. But unfortunately, their story isn't unique. It really reflects a larger issue of habitat loss and human conflict that's affecting so many species around the world.
So what were the main factors that led to the South China tiger's decline?
Well, throughout the 20th century, as China was developing and modernizing, there was massive deforestation and agricultural expansion. This, of course, led to habitat fragmentation, destroying the tigers' homes, and isolating populations.
Makes sense. They're literally being squeezed out of their own territory.
Exactly. And as their natural prey started to dwindle because of this, they were forced to hunt closer to human settlements, leading to more conflict.
Ah, so they were seen as a threat to livestock and people.
Unfortunately, yeah. And then there was a period during the Great Leap Forward in the 1950s where the Chinese government actually declared these tigers as pests.
That's awful. So they were actively hunted.
They were, and this really accelerated their decline to a critical level by the 1970s. It was a really dark period for the species.
So where do things stand now? Are there any conservation efforts happening to try and bring the South China tiger back from the brink?
There are, but honestly, it's an uphill battle. There are captive breeding programs like the one at the South China Tiger Breeding Center in Suzhou. They're doing amazing work trying to increase the population.
I was going to say, just breeding more tigers probably isn't enough.
It isn't. The ultimate goal is rewilding, successfully reintroducing captive bred tigers back into protected habitats. But that comes with a whole set of challenges.
Like what? What are the biggest obstacles to a successful reintroduction?
Well, habitat loss is still the most significant issue. Even if we breed a healthy population, without vast protected areas where they can roam and hunt without human interference, their survival is at risk.
And I imagine finding those kinds of areas in a country as populated as China must be incredibly difficult.
It is. And then there's the issue of genetic diversity. The current captive population descends from a very small number of individuals, which means they have a limited gene pool.
Right, so that makes them more susceptible to diseases and less adaptable to environmental changes.
Exactly. So some researchers are exploring more innovative solutions like genetic engineering to try and introduce more diversity into the captive population.
It's like science fiction come to life.
It is, but it's still in the very early stages, and there are a lot of ethical considerations to work through as well.
It sounds like there's no easy answer. But their story, especially the cultural significance, feels so important to understand.
It is. The South China tiger is more than just an endangered species. It's a symbol of China's natural heritage, a reminder of the delicate balance of ecosystems, and a call to action for conservation.
Yeah, it really makes you think. From those unique stripes to their place in Chinese culture, the South China tiger story is both fascinating and deeply concerning.
It is. But imagine a future where the roar of this tiger is heard again in the forests of China. That hope is what drives the people working tirelessly to ensure its survival. It's a reminder that even in the face of daunting challenges, there's always a reason to keep fighting. So what will it take for this magnificent creature to thrive once again? That's a question we should all be asking.
Definitely something to think about.